The city lights bled gold across the penthouse terrace when I saw my father slip something into my wine. A pinch of nothing, white as bone, drifting down like snow that would never melt. His face stayed easy, the same practiced warmth he used for investors and cameras. No one else saw. Not the string quartet, not the cousins laughing too loud, not even Lila raising her glass beside me. I held the flute, felt the bubbles die against my fingers, and understood. Tonight they expected me to disappear politely. Instead, I smiled the way I'd been taught, teeth first, heart later, and made a different plan. They called me the spare part in a house built for 1 star. Lila's walls were a museum of victories, fencing medals, valedictorian plaques, photos of her shaking hands with senators. My awards existed, but they were tucked behind furniture, half forgotten, like apologies no one meant. At 14, I mapped heavy metal contamination in the river that ran past Dad's factories. First place, Regional Science Expo. I carried the trophy downstairs like it was made of glass. Dad glanced up from his phone long enough to say, "Good. A Wentworth doesn't settle for less." Mom adjusted her necklace and added, "Fix your posture in the photo, Evelyn. You look hunched." That night Lila's new lacrosse trophy took the prime shelf space on the mantel. My ribbon went into a drawer that never opened again. The pattern calcified. Birthdays revolved around Lila's internships at Dad's company, her perfect LSAT score, her engagement to the right kind of man. My master's in environmental toxicology was greeted with the same chilly silence they reserved for bad quarterly reports. When I turned down the cushy corporate fellowship they'd arranged and took a grant position exposing illegal dumping instead, Dad's voice went quiet, the dangerous kind. "You'll fund your own rebellion, then." I did. The loans still feel like freedom. The night of my graduation gala, I slipped away from the crowd to find a bathroom without a line. Behind the catering kitchen I heard them, Mom's clipped whisper, Dad's measured calm. "She gets the voting shares in 9 days. Then we buy 9 days," he answered. A brief medical episode. Nothing permanent. Just long enough for the board to freeze the transfer. I pressed myself against the wall, heartbeat loud in my ears. They weren't angry. They were scheduling. Back on the terrace, Dad personally handed the server a single glass, stem balanced between 2 fingers, a faint cloud dissolving inside like a secret. The tray delivered, he stepped away, satisfied. I watched Lila reach for it, because of course it would be placed nearest the golden child. My hand moved before my brain caught up. I intercepted, swapped the flutes with the same bright laugh I'd perfected for Christmas photos. To brilliant futures, I toasted. Lila drank. She dropped between one breath and the next. Champagne foamed across marble. Dad's roar of her name cracked something inside the night. Mom's scream was small, almost ladylike, as if volume itself were vulgar. I knelt, checked Lila's pulse, thready, racing, and told the 911 operator exactly which rare alkaloid to test for. I'd written papers on its derivatives. Security footage caught everything in merciless 4K, Dad's sleight of hand, my calm switch, Lila's collapse. By the time the paramedics loaded her into the ambulance, 2 federal agents were already waiting downstairs. Turns out when your family's chemical division has been burying toxins for decades, certain 3-letter agencies keep a quiet file open. In the hospital corridor, under lights the color of old bones, Dad finally looked at me. "You switched the glasses." "Yes. You could have killed your sister." "You were going to kill me for a balance sheet," I said. "She just got in the way." Lila lived. Barely. When she woke, she stared at our parents like they were strangers wearing familiar faces. She asked for water then. Asked me why I wasn't crying. I told her the tears would come later, when the cameras were gone. They arrested Dad in the hallway still wearing his tuxedo. Mom followed 10 minutes after, clutching her pearls like rosary beads. The headlines wrote themselves. Dynasty poisoned, literally. 6 months later the lake house smells of pine and coffee instead of secrets. Lila pads around in my old college hoodies, reading case law about corporate fraud instead of preparing to join it. I spend mornings taking water samples from the same river I mapped as a kid, only now the numbers are getting better, not worse. Sometimes we sit on the dock until the stars come out, Two sisters learning how loud silence can be when it finally belongs to you. Dad's trial starts next spring. Mom took a plea. The company is being dismantled by regulators the way I once took apart polluted soil, layer by careful layer. Last night Lila asked if I regret the swap. I watched moonlight slide across the water and told her the truth. I only regret that I didn't do it sooner.